Hello, Commerce Tiger teachers. It's exciting times. This is now the first challenge of our 10-week challenges in our CISD Pride. I am Dr. Trimmel, here along with Heather Kilgore and Carrie Sturch. Let's take a look at our Week 1 challenge. This challenge, teachers, we're going to see how you are setting your academic expectations that challenge all students. Also, to see how your students demonstrate mastery of the learning objective. Hey, Carrie, can you tell us a little bit more? I know here in CISD, you've been using the Fundamental 5 with framing the lesson. Can you expand on it?
The first element of the Fundamental 5 is called framing the lesson. We've talked about this before, and we've included this on our lesson plan template for the past couple of years. But let's dive in and let's look a little bit closer. A lesson frame has two very distinct parts. The first part of the lesson frame typically starts with something that says we will or we are, and it's meant to include a daily learning objective. That objective needs to be in student-friendly language and be very concrete for our students. The second part of a quality lesson frame is a closing product, a closing task, something that the students are going to be able to demonstrate for us that they have a clear understanding. And that's usually written with an I will. So let's look at our TEKS Resource System curriculum. To write a quality lesson frame, we have some fabulous resources with our instructional focus documents and our pacing guides from Region 10. This is an IFD from first grade. Take a look at the right side of the IFD, and you'll notice that's where the unit understandings are written. The unit understanding is just a concrete sentence, but it does have some questions that follow along with it. Those questions can be easily rewritten as the first part of a lesson frame. We will learn how to determine if this is a living organism. We will determine characteristics and properties of non-living objects. For the second part of your lesson frame, you could go over to the performance assessments. The performance assessments are meant to be open-ended tasks that your students will use to demonstrate mastery. So on this particular performance assessment, students are asked to create a Venn diagram to sort and classify pictures. So your lesson frame may say something like, I will create a Venn diagram to sort and classify pictures of living and non-living objects. Heather, what might this look like for our challenge?
Okay, since this IFD is looking at Venn diagrams for a performance indicator, this is a good example of what an image could look like on Twitter to show student learning. So you have the image of the student work, and then you have your text explaining your we will statement. And don't forget the hashtag CISD Pride. This is how we are going to find your tweet in the Twitter sphere to be able to give you credit. Now, if your lesson does not have a Venn diagram, this is another way that you can show the learning and the I will, we will statements from your classroom. Take pictures of the board, take pictures of student work, put it all in a collage. If you have an iPad or an iPhone, you can use the Pic Collage app, or if you want to use a web tool, you can use Be Funky. But just make sure that you include what the students are doing in the tweet. You know, sometimes tweets are only 140 characters, so you have to shorten words or drop punctuation, but you can always use the abbreviation SS for students when talking about student work in Twitter. And don't forget that to be able to receive credit, you have to include the CISD Pride within the tweet so that we can find you.
Well, Heather and Carrie and the Tiger teachers out there, we can't wait to see what you post or tweet out this week. Also, you'll be earning a Flair of a self-check. So on challenge number 1, if you fulfill the requirements and take your picture and tweet it out on your Twitter feed, then we will go back and we'll check it, and you will receive a self-check Flair. We can't wait to walk the halls and see how many of our Tiger teachers have this self-check Flair. So, Tiger teachers, it is now game on.
Game on! Woohoo! Let's do this.